everybody, how are we all doing? I hope we're having a good weekend so far. I hope everybody's had a good Christmas and the holidays or whatever it is you celebrate. New Year's is just around the corner as well, so 2014 is imminent. Oh dear, it's not the end of the world, that's for sure, so that's a good thing. Okay, this is it, the last review for this year, for 2013, the last chapter for 2013 of Smallville Alien, Season 11, Part 6 of 12, and we seem to be on epic dangerous territory here. This is a cliffhanger and a half, this is. So we're back in Gotham. Lois and Chloe have arrived. They're looking for Batman. They've found him as he is busy interrogating one of the deadliest criminals known as Victor Zsasz. This is a guy who basically marks his body with everybody that he's killed. It's quite scary in a sense as well. So yeah, so they've come for his help. So Batman and Nightwing, as I say, are interrogating Victor Zsasz. Turns out he's not really in trouble. He hasn't done anything wrong. So they let him go. To which point Lois quips, "Don't tell me the big bad Batman has gone soft." Oh dear. So it's very interesting that Chloe is actually coaxing, in some sense, Bruce Wayne here, saying your bat encryption isn't as impressive as you might think, plus all the screaming. It's like, oof, dearie me, Chloe, you really shouldn't intimidate bats in that sort of manner. Then it's when they actually get to the Batcave, and this is probably this is not the first time we've obviously seen the Batcave, obviously, but this is actually the first time we've really seen its full interior as such. So it is quite a sight. There's no sign of the famous Liberty coin or the T-Rex or the big Joker card, not yet anyway, so unless they're hiding somewhere else, we don't know. But like I say, yeah, they arrive at the Batcave. Chloe's like, okay, now I'm impressed. Lois even says, he has a submarine. Yes, Batman has a submarine, that's true. So they're busy going on about the situation of what's happening, you know, dead body that has shown up in Gotham of a guy, of a kid dressed as Superman, you know, and obviously it's worrying Batman that this is showing up on his town, even though he's already dealt with alien encounters previously. If you remember, Effigy, which was the first side story, I believe, that they did. Batman and Martian Manhunter going after the White Martian, who eventually turns out to be Megan Moores, aka Miss Martian. So you would think that Batman was used to that sort of thing, but he still isn't. He's still quite uncomfortable with the whole situation, and he even says it here, I don't like variables that I can't control, which is interesting, which is true, because this is why he's Batman, you know. He wants to be able to control the situation, he wants it in his favour, and if it's something that is completely out of his depth or out of his reach, he does find a hard time to actually believe what he's actually seeing. So for him it's just, oof, yeah. So they're trying to get the facial recognition of the dead body that they found. So it's taken a while, even though as Alfred states here, you spent $1 billion on this computer, so one hopes quite well, as in, you know, the facial recognition reconstruction going on. So Alfred gives him that answer. So they're scanning for all sorts of things, you know, fingerprints. There's no match from anyone there. Things to do with the blood and all sorts. So, you know, they're trying to gather information and intel as to who this person is that they found. And at the same time, you know, Chloe is telling Bruce about her and Oliver. Oliver's just like, Bruce is just like, oh, here it goes, kind of thing. And this was the best bit. This was one of the best quotes that I've read so far. Chloe turns around and goes, right, your humble little cesspool doesn't really need much in the way of disaster relief. Why do you think that is? Of which Bruce just literally turns around and just says, me. And then Chloe's response to Lois, now I see why I see Oliver so jealous. Yeah. You know, when you've got a guy who's a billionaire and has a ton of gadgets at his disposal, and does things 10 times better than Oliver Queen, and yeah, you can imagine why Oliver would be jealous. Anyway, the facial recognition computer does eventually give them a name, and it's a name that they didn't expect. I'm not even going to say who, because even I was shocked, and it started racking my brain a bit, thinking, what is going on here? So yeah. Anyway, back in Russia, the Rocket Reds are still taking down, or still attempting to apprehend the Monitor, who has escaped from his little prison. We've got Lex in the crossfire, asking the Monitor why is he doing this? Why is he attacking the Rocket Reds and everything? And that's when the Monitor shows he's very disappointed in Lex, that, you know, he should understand, you know, the people, you know, that they are bugs to them as such. And then that's when the Monitor turns on Lex, about to fire at him. Superman comes in and then decides to take matters into his own hands. Now, it actually gets to the point of when, even when he uses his heat vision on him, the Monitor just simply retracts it back and it hits Superman back on himself, which is rather interesting. And then Clark is asking the Monitor, what is the crisis? Which the Monitor replies, you mean you don't know? Even I don't know what the crisis is. It could be any of the crises that I've read over the years. Final Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths. We don't know. But what is interesting is what happens afterwards. Superman headbutts the Monitor. It causes a loud vibration that smashes the windows in the background. It is quite earth-shattering, to the point of where the Rocket Reds and even Lex Luthor all toppled over. Next thing you know, Superman's in pain, in serious pain. Then what we then see is Superman gets the Rocket Reds out of the way along with Lex, because the Monitor has hit the building, trying to destroy it and kill everybody. So when Superman saves them, he then takes a step back and is like, how in the hell did he hurt me? And it's very, very interesting to see that Superman can actually be physically hurt by the Monitor, and it gives you an idea of where this might be going. So yeah, so it's very interesting. Good finish, what an end. Obviously that's the last for this year, but it's also the last chapter for the break, because next week we'll see Harbinger, the new side story, kick off. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, again, a really good story. I mean, I've seen so many tweets from people who have tweeted towards both Kat and Brian, and everybody's saying that, you know, this version of Superman from Smallville is like it's their definitive version, and there's nothing wrong with that. As I say, you know, if you're a fan of Superman, you'll like all aspects. Some aspects you won't be a big fan of. I myself, there are a few things regarding Superman that I'm not really a huge fan of. But you know, Smallville is creating its own universe. It's not just creating its own universe. What it's doing is it's lending from everything that has happened before, and is making its own unique universe at the same time. It's taken all the aspects and all the sources that we've had over the years, you know, since day one, from 1938, you know, to the present day, and you know, they are borrowing all the elements of Superman, not just Superman, but other characters as well. You know, we saw with Diana Prince, aka Wonder Woman, Batman as well, even Nightwing, you know, Barbara Gordon in this case. You know, we've even seen Prankster in the comics, you know, Mr. Freeze as well, you know, Toyman at the same time. So they really are getting so diverse and getting their hands into the bigger universe out there, and it's great to see that being translated into this comic book, because I don't think I've actually come across a Superman comic book where so much diversity has been involved in terms of characters and such, that this is very unique. And as it states, even with the new format as well, it does say that it doesn't matter where you start with Smallville, you're always going to guarantee a damn good story, and I think it works really well. So hats off to everybody involved, Brian, Kat, you know, Edgar Salazar, and everybody else, and you know, George Martinez as well, Jimenez, sorry, not Martinez, Jimenez, everyone who's involved with the, well, not just with the creation, but the process and everything, you know, the artwork, the story, everything that goes into making this a really, really good comic, that, you know, hardcore Smallville fans will enjoy this. I know that a lot of people want to see more Lois and Clark romance. I'm sure we will in due course, but it's good to see that they are venturing out there, because they couldn't do this in the show. This is why the comic book exists, because the stuff that we are seeing and that we're reading is stuff that we wanted to see in the show, but unfortunately, budget-wise, it couldn't be done. So this is the perfect way to do it. So yeah, amazing. Anyway, sorry for going off in a little rant, or ramble rather, right there. But you know, just giving my testament to what we're seeing here and what we're reading. It's just amazing. So Brian, Kat, and everybody else, thank you very much. See you all in 2014. Bye.